Hey Chris, so I just got done watching your video, but this has kind of turned into a story swap, so I hope you don't mind. But I can remember my first sex ed class about puberty. I was in 5th grade. We went to the cafeteria at the end of the day, which was also the auditorium at the time, and we sat at our lunch tables, and they rolled in this TV, and they put on one of those stupid, like, diagram videos where, like, they show you drawings of vaginas and penises and what happens, and I can remember being so completely disinterested in either part of the video. I mean, the vagina one just looked confusing, and it was all inside, so it was like, what does it matter? No one's gonna see that happening. And while the penis one was way more interesting, I think partially because it was stuff that I didn't have, I was still kind of grossed out by the whole concept of it. And I remember not really wanting to be there. I remember being so completely disinterested. I wasn't upset. I didn't have what you had, which was really sad. But I think it just shows how I've never really wanted to be either. You know, I wanted to just remain this little androgynous thing. And, you know, I didn't want genitals. I mean, don't get me wrong, I like having genitals. But, that said, I always just really wanted to be this little, I just wanted to be a person. I didn't want to have a gender, you know. I would much rather have been in between and been able to pick friends as I wanted without all the politics, you know, and that kind of stuff. But I think my anger in middle school was due in part because of my body was doing things I didn't want it to do. But during that time, I was also being fairly heavily abused by the girl who was supposed to be my best friend. She was the school bully, and she regularly beat up on me, including giving me dead arms anytime I had to take notes. So that was fun. And I think a lot of my anger was me transferring her abuse onto other people. I was not even really a person. I was just merely a vehicle for her abuse to continue. And it took me a long time to get over that, and it took me a long time to come to grips with the fact that it was abuse. That not everyone goes through middle school, you know, with bruises on their arms, and not wanting to wear short sleeves because they know that their upper arms are purple, and feeling like they're completely worthless because that's what their best friend tells them every day. And so it took me a long time to get over that. And I think the thing that really helped me the most in terms of getting over that was coming out as queer on whatever level, because when I came out as queer, I was instantly adopted into the queer community that was kind of underground at my school at the time. Cute underclassmen who were this new generation of coming out in middle school and having it not really be a big deal. Whereas in middle school I dated a bunch of gay boys to kind of help them, you know, from being discovered. And I think I was helping myself from being discovered on some level too. But, you know, middle school was so rough for so many people, for so many queers that I knew. Middle school was just absolute hell. And then we got to high school, and by the time we were seniors, there was this new generation of, you know, freshmen and sophomores who were out and were flamboyant and were, you know, completely okay with themselves, and they weren't getting shit for it. So by the time me and my generation were, you know, seniors, we had this new generation that we could kind of fall back on and start the process over on some level. We could be out, we could be flamboyant, we could do what we wanted without having people give us shit for it. And yeah, we still got shit for it, but at least we had friends, you know. Getting flack is one thing, but getting flack when you're alone is a lot harder. So I mean, that was the point where I realized that not everyone goes through that shit in middle school, and that it was okay, that I didn't have to be angry anymore, that I could have friends and that I could live my life, and I didn't have to have anyone telling me that I was worthless, essentially. So and then I went to college, and that sucked, because at that point I had made myself this little community, and I went to college and then there was nothing. Like, there's nothing here. We have a GSA, but they're not really active. They're not queer, really. I mean, it's a bunch of straight kids and some closeted queers. So I had to kind of start the process over again. I was being self-abusive at this point, and I eventually had a suicide attempt, and that was really my wake-up call. My brother drove out 3.5 hours to come save me, and stayed the night, and was just completely, he was so confused, because he has this concept of me as the golden child of my family. And for me to suddenly be, you know, wanting to die was a bit of a shock for, I think, both of us, honestly. But I had to start the process over, and I found people who were open about different types of queerness, and eventually they kind of helped me realize that I was never a girl, never been a girl. Regardless of how many proms I went to and how many dresses I wore, it was all drag. And eventually I ended up finding a new community, the online community, that will stay with me regardless of where I go, unlike my high school queer community. Though I'm still friends with a bunch of them, but they're spread all across the state now, and because the drive is so long to get out here, and I don't have a car, you know, it all kind of falls away in the end, regardless of what the excuses are. But the new community, the online community, has really helped, because I fell back into my anger for a while, and it's still something that I struggle with. It's still something that I struggle with on the day-to-day. I mean, there are days where I'm just so angry I can't do anything but sit here and cry, and, you know, then there are days where I'm not angry at all. And I think that's probably how it's going to be for the rest of my life, and I'm okay with that. But it's so important to have people around that help you realize that you don't have to be angry anymore. Because, I mean, if I stayed angry, I would be dead. That's just how it would be. I would be dead by now. And I think that's the thing that a lot of people don't realize about anger, is that it will eventually kill you. Like, people think that anger has a power in it. And on some level it does, because it is powerful, it's explosive. But you're right in the middle of it. You can't escape it if you're the one that's angry, you know? So I wish a lot more people would realize how destructive it is, not to other people. Because, I mean, yeah, that's important, and we all know anger is destructive to other people, but how destructive anger is for yourself. Because I've seen so many people get torn up by it, and I refuse to be another one. I refuse to add myself to those numbers. But, so, yeah. I'm sorry I'm such a downer. But yeah, I just wanted to kind of build on what you said. And it's something I've been talking about about a lot in therapy lately because of my autobiography. It was funny. My therapist thought that when I said I was friends with the school bully, he thought I meant a boy. And I was like, no. Our school bully was a girl. And she was vicious. But, yeah. So, that's it. I guess I'll talk to you later.